When I was younger and I learned a song and I kind of had the notes right, I thought like, man, I got this down. But then I would go to record myself and it wouldn't sound very good. And I had no idea what it was. Like, I'm playing the right notes, I'm playing the right chords, like technically everything should be right. And it took me so long to figure out why I couldn't sound like the recording. The difference between an amateur guitarist and a pro guitarist. And that's nuance. Those fine little details that you really gotta pay attention to make sure that it just sounds as good as it can sound. Now I'm working on this song right now, and it's a pretty simple part, but I just keep recording it and it just sounds awful. So I'm spending all this time trying to make it sound good and paying attention to all those little details. So I wanna take you through this journey and show you the simple rhythm part, but explain the nuance to make it sound good. Let's start off with just the chords. Now, if you're familiar with any neo-soul stuff, the chords are pretty simple. We have a C sharp minor 9, an F sharp minor 7, and I'm gonna bar across it like that. And then I do an A6, and right back to C sharp minor 9. Really simple, but I'm gonna use my fingers and I'm gonna create a little groove with it. And there we're gonna think about the nuance and the problems that you might have with making something simple sound good, and also what you might be doing wrong that sounds bad, like I was doing when I was first working out this lick. So I'm gonna play the main groove right now, and then we're gonna break it down and identify the potential problems that you can encounter like I encountered, so I could take it from okay to amazing. So first let's break down this pattern and get it together, and then we'll look at the details to make it sound really nice. So I'm going to start off with my fingers and thumb on the middle 4 strings, thumb on the A, index, middle, and ring on the D, G, B. And I'm going to break that up like I usually do with picking chords. Thumb on the root note, and then my fingers grab the rest of the chord. And it's going to go like that. That's going to be the first half. Thumb, fingers, little slap, and fingers again. Okay, and then I'm going to slide into it from the 3rd fret. And I'm just going to grab the A, G, and B string. Just like that. So I can grab that high E string there too. And that's going to be my pattern. Right at the end, I'm going to do a little slap, mute with the fingers, grab them like that, and then get that 4th fret of the low E string. Now that's kind of like the groovy part that's going to come at the end of each chord. So we want to start to really feel that. So that whole chord goes like this. Now when we move over to the F sharp minor chord on the 2nd fret, my thumb is going to move over to the root note, which is now on the E string, and I'm going to break it up the same kind of way. Thumb, fingers, slap, fingers. It's kind of my first half. And then I'm going to slide into it just like I did before from the 1st fret. Just grab that whole chord and grab it again. And then again, that 4th beat, I'm going to do the same little feel. Slap, muted fingers, and grab that 4th fret again. And that's the groove again. Then we continue to the A6, again, similar thing. Except this time we're going to keep that last note on the 5th fret. Back over to C sharp minor 9, we're going to switch it up just a little bit. Instead of sliding, we're just going to stay on that chord, and then our last little note, going to get that 2nd fret, that B right there. It's a groove. So that's my groove. So after you get the chords down and you get the general feel of the finger pattern down and the groove down, you might think you got it, and maybe you do, but let's think about all these little details and let's really listen to what's coming out of this guitar to see if it sounds as good as we think it sounds or as good as it could sound. Now the first thing I encountered that I just kept messing up was missing these staccato notes. And I mean, I was doing them so quick that I wasn't even making them sound. I was either lifting too fast or my just coordination was off. I don't know, but I was going like, you know, like that. It just wasn't, it wasn't good. My timing, everything was just, it wasn't too good. So I had to think about that. Like, those staccato notes are short and quick, but I still need to make them sound. I still want to hear those notes. So instead of going like this, I want to hold it down just like a little bit more. I want to be aware of that. Right? Like I still have that staccato-ness, but I want to hear those notes. And one thing that I always do whenever I'm working out something is I'll play around with the extremes, right? So in this example, the extreme of a staccato note is basically not staccato, right? A longer note. Right, that's my extreme. So I could really feel it and kind of start to break whatever habit I might have had by not really bringing out those notes. So step one, make sure all the notes are coming out of the guitar. If you intended to play that chord, no matter how quick the chord might be, make sure the notes are coming out. And maybe you're playing it too quick in a certain sense that the notes are not coming out, kind of like how I was. So we want to watch out for that. Now the next thing I noticed when I was trying to get this part down was my slap. For the longest time, I've just been like slapping too hard. So that's already a bad thing too. We don't want to slap too hard, especially on an electric guitar, because it's very responsive. So we just need to lighten that up, you know? So if I slap too hard, it sounds very harsh and just bad, you know? It's way too much. So I want to slap softer. So that's a good start right there. I could be like, okay, I know that. I'm going to adjust and get the habits down, right? So I'm going to try this, slapping a little bit softer. Okay, cool. So now I even kind of noticed another detail when I was going through it. When I do my slap, I do it with an open fist. So I'm not clenching it. It's just open like this and like that. Try and do it soft. And now when I adjusted it and did it much softer and tried to really just get a nice tone in, I noticed that my fingernails were hitting across the strings and it just made this bad sound. I don't know. So I had to change that. I did my slap now. I was doing it with my fingers. So all of a sudden I'm not doing it with my fist. I'm doing it with my fingers and trying to make sure that the flesh, they say, not the fingernails, but the flesh is touching the strings. Because we just want the softest of taps. We don't really want to bring out this big percussive thing, just like a nice sounding soft tap. So now I kind of got that habit, and now it's going to sound a little bit better, and I'm going to try it like this. A soft tap, and try and not hit my fingernails scraping across the strings. So it's going to sound like this now. Instead of this. Now the next detail I had to pay attention to is the sliding chords, basically sliding into the chord. And again, this is one of those things that I had a problem with for the longest time, where I would start the slide before I really caught that first note. You know, we don't want to go, we don't want to catch that. You could hear the notes aren't all quite there. So I want to make sure that I get that whole first chord together and put that down. So I want to make sure, again, when I'm sliding, that that first chord that I'm sliding from is all there. I'm hearing all those notes. And that's just basically the recurring pattern that we're going to see throughout this whole idea of paying attention to nuances. It's Am I playing the notes that I intend to play? And am I not making the noises that I don't intend to make? You know? So in this example, I want to hear that chord moving in. I want to hear that, and that's what's going to create that nice full sound. I have to have that first one where I'm coming from, even though it's technically out of key. Don't worry about that, because that's the point of it, right? We're creating that move, that slide. So to hear that, we got to really hear that first chord. Now the next thing I want to pay attention to when I'm using my fingers is one string or one note might pop out more than the others. And I really want everything to be pretty even. I want to hear everything evenly. I don't want to hear it like, you know, oh. I don't want it like that. You know? So I want to make sure that everything is coming out even and then it sounds really, really. So I want to make sure every chord is consistent with the notes across the neck, evenly, dynamically, all across. All right, so now it's starting to come together, and the final thing is just locking in that groove. You know, it's a little bit swung, it's got this nice feel to it that we want to bring out. So what I do is I put the metronome on 2 and 4, and that just really helps me just really start to feel it and lock in with that feel with a steady time. So I'm going to try out this song right now. I'm going to see what y'all think of it. If you want the tabs for this and the guitar solo that's going to happen somewhere in the song, check us out at patreon.com/nastysoul. I appreciate all y'all's support, and definitely check out all the courses I have available. If you're a Patreon subscriber, you can have access to all of these courses and just go nuts, get crazy, learn that guitar, jam it up. That's everything, man. Keep jamming and stay nasty. Love y'all. Peace.
Looking at her again, wondering why I can't have her in my life. How much have I sinned for all these goodbyes? When will they subside? Maybe when you go. Looking at her again, wondering why I can't have her in my life. How much have I sinned for all these goodbyes? When will they subside? looking at her again, wondering why I can't have her in my life. How much have I sinned for all these goodbyes?